going inside of Hikaru, for lack of a better word.
There's no other lack of word. That's what happens.
Yeah, and
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast, with your hosts, Connor O'Neill and Matthew Hughes.
What is up, everybody, and happy Halloween. We are not dressed up. It's Matt's fault. We were originally
Collectively our fault.
I think it's your fault. If I recall correctly, we were going to record somewhere else.
I thought so too, but then we
which
never got mentioned.
Costumes available.
But alas, here we are. Yeah. Anyways, it's spooky time. This comes out a couple days before Halloween, so happy Halloween, happy spooky day. And so what better to watch a spooky themed horror style mystery supernatural anime than this time of year?
We just left it at horror. We gotta be thematic, and we watched a horror anime for this anime of the month. If you're new around here, every month, the last episode of the week is our anime of the month. You can suggest an anime in our Discord or in the comments section down below. Make sure to subscribe so you can see the podcast episode, so you can comment on what anime we should watch. And then we just give it a quickie review. So obviously this is going to have some spoilers ahead. This is our longest running series at this point.
Yes, definitely is. Coming up to almost 2 years. And obviously the anime we watched was The Summer Hikaru Died. The air date was earlier this year of summer 2025, one of the most recent animes we've reviewed.
I think this is the closest to the show ending that we've done for Anime of the Month.
Definitely.
The next closest would be when we went through the Crunchyroll Award shows, which was within a year, but
exactly. Just 12 episodes. Studio was Cygame Pictures. Genre is horror, mystery, supernatural. The My Anime List score is sitting at an 8.13 based on 201,483 people total.
I see that your stats has, when you took this, our stat, because in our prep sheets, Matt will take a screenshot of the My Anime List stats, and I can tell that Matt must have taken this really close to when the show...
should probably... Hold up.
Really close to when the show ended.
I just realized that, yeah.
We have completed 32.
32. We got to pull this up quick.
Which I feel like there's a good
stats.
chance that changed. Is it changed? Is it more than 32?
Just a little bit. We're going to update this a little bit here quick on the fly. 8.08 is the new
so it dropped a couple points. Yeah.
And of total, that's 228,919 people. Completed is 59,062.
Slightly more than 30.
Slightly, just a couple more.
Okay. I gotcha.
32. Whoops. Anyways, yes. So obviously that recently aired, but yes, my anime score of 8.0.
How fitting that The Summer Hikaru Died aired in the summer anime season.
Weird. And moving on to the synopsis, where I butcher the names, even though I've seen the anime. Synopsis. It has been 6 months since Yoshiki Tujinaka's best friend Hikaru Indu went missing in the mountains and returned a week later with no recollection of what has transpired. Certain that it is not Hikaru, he knows who came back, Yoshiki finally asks Hikaru about it. Suddenly, Hikaru reveals his true monstrous form and begs Yoshiki to keep it a secret, as he does not want to kill him. And despite his paranormal nature, Hikaru seems almost innocent, full of childlike wonder and eager to experience the summer heat, the countryside, and all kinds of other things in a human body for the first time. And for Yoshiki, it matters little if Hikaru is a fake relying on stolen memories, as long as he never leaves him again. As Yoshiki desperately clings to Hikaru in this intense grief, it becomes increasingly clear that something dangerous and supernatural may have descended from the mountains into their village.
Wow, what a good synopsis.
I know. My anime list kills it,
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
True.
So I guess we'll just dive right on in. Initial thoughts. I'm not particularly a fan of horror at all, media-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't matter the case. I think the horror that I like the most would probably be Tokyo Ghoul, and would you even consider that a horror? Like, it is, but it isn't, Like,
yeah.
There's, like, elements of that it's, like, darker, and I think it is actually categorized as a horror, but
I believe so,
I
yeah.
would not very lightly lean that way.
Yeah.
Where this one definitely is
plays more into
horror.
horror, for sure.
But yeah, going in, obviously, I feel like this is for most of the anime of the months is don't know much going in.
Yep.
I watched the first 2 episodes, the beginning of the summer season, and it clued in to me that, oh, this will end before Halloween, and that's why I ended up stop watching it, and we did it as the anime of the month. But watching it, very pretty anime, very well animated. Art style's nice. I enjoy the way the color palette shifts for some of the how would I call it? Irregular moments. Or
Yeah. Irregular moments make sense.
But yeah, overall was fine. Little bit on the slow side, I think, was something that I was struggling with. And I think we've mentioned that it almost feels like it was one of those shows where either you need to watch it twice, or it would have been nice to have the dub so you're not as focused on the text.
Definitely.
And you can kind of see a lot more of the imagery, and because there's a lot of quick flashes of different imagery and whatnot going on. So I feel like that could have helped the experience in some ways. But the voice acting was good.
Yeah.
The sub, it's not a sub issue. It's a not knowing Japanese issue.
Yeah. Facts.
But yeah, on initial visual watch through, it was a little on the slow side, and there's a lot of subtext. I think a lot of going on, but not said. A lot of things, left for the viewer to really experience or figure out on their own.
Yes.
On top of obviously a mystery going on.
Yeah.
And so we haven't really covered too many shows with a lot of that, more of that like subtext, or having to really focus on more than just what the story's telling us.
Yeah.
So that's at least something different, which is nice. That's kind of the point of the anime month, to try and get something different going in. What were your first thoughts?
I mean, similar to you, like personally, horror is not my go-to genre at all. Doesn't matter if it's movies, books, or even anime, manga, etc. Like I've read a couple Stephen King books, but
I've seen the new It, but not the original.
So I don't mind horror, but I can respect the genre outside of gore. I don't really understand the hype behind like straight gore, like Saw movies.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Just not my cup of tea, But overall, the show does a really good job of keeping you creeped out to the random visuals. To the interesting story of who is safe, who isn't safe, who can you trust, who can't you trust.
Yep.
All the way to keeping you invested into the history of this village and the surrounding area.
Yep.
Though I do find the first couple episodes, they really just toss you into the story, and it both worked, but also was kind of putting me off, if that makes sense, because it was just like, here's the world.
It almost feels like you go in and you're kind of the mystery is, how did Hikaru die? But that's actually not the mystery at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're just thrown into the first episode, and it's already like, you're not Hikaru, and you're like, oh,
they've already died. Got it. Okay.
I thought that we were gonna follow the characters as they figured out that
How?
later. They just jump right in, like, nope, that is not Hikaru, and this is we're okay.
Yeah,
with this.
which
This
I
is
think
why.
mostly worked. I think a little bit of me was just like, okay, so then what is the actual plot here? Like it's,
But that's what's fun.
but that's
that you
the
figure it out.
interesting concept of it. I agree.
Yeah, that's totally valid. Yeah, I guess we should cover up some of the. I guess let's get a bit to animation design, and then we can jump into maybe more of like the nuances of the story.
Yeah.
What'd you think? What'd you like?
I mean, all characters are drastically different from one another, which I'm always a fan of.
I feel like you have to be doing something wrong when all the characters look identical.
Well, it's even better because like we had scenes that they were in school. And
Yeah,
I
they're all
feel
in
like
school
that's always
uniform.
the biggest moment in anime that the characters look the same, is because they're all wearing the same uniforms, and it's just like slightly different hair color. But like all the characters look drastically different. It was great. The special effects of like the spirit, ghost, demon, whatever you want to call, was inside Hikaru. I thought the animation special effects was done with the right amount of spook.
It kind of reminded me of the MAPPA animation for JJK.
Yeah.
Where they used a different color palette and like different lines to almost give you that sense visually, like this is not the same, this doesn't belong,
exactly
kind of idea.
Yeah.
Which was really, Yeah, it was good.
And with that, I also enjoyed the addition of real life getting added to the creep factor. Like
that was what made everything so unsettling. Like the scene with the chicken.
Yeah, that's the one I literally have randomly showing chicken meat. Like it was just
it wasn't
so
random
like
because they talked about the inside of Hikaru
I know,
being like chicken,
but the shot is random.
yeah, you don't expect that.
But even like in the outro too, like there's random clips of like actual beach and train and stuff like that, and that helps tell a story in a way that it like brings you back to reality and then jumps you right back in, which I think is really cool. And then I enjoy that light helped tell a story as well. Like, for example, like all the flashbacks were done with a warmer light effect to show that it was a happier and like a different time and like everything was
when
normal
like they were
back
younger.
then. Yeah, exactly. Compared to like when you get introduced to a new character, it's dark
and gloomy.
And then it does that as an effect for the audience to be like, can we trust this person? Can we not trust this person?
There's definitely a lot of trust issues.
Yes, including the main character himself.
Like you're just so like I don't know who I should be trusting, who is not to be trusted. Because you get to the point where Hikaru or the entity inside of Hikaru is kind of like, okay, I am not going to try and kill Yoshiki. I'm just gonna leave him. I like him. I ain't gonna kill him. But then you get to like episode 8 or whatever it is, and then he's trying to kill him, and you're just kind of like, okay, like I'm confused. We're not trying to kill him. What's happening?
Exactly.
Can't even trust himself.
Literally.
Themself.
Itself. Whatever. However,
doesn't really get truly explained what it is.
Yeah, exactly. What about you? Animation, character design?
Yeah, basically a lot of the same things. I really liked the use of real imagery, real video footage in the cuts. Does a really good job of making the show unsettling. Because generally this is not like the a horror where you're like, oh, jump scares or that's just creepy or stuff like that. It was very much on the I'm going to make you feel uncomfortable. I'm going to make you feel unsettled. Yeah, literally. That was kind of the horror, which is almost leaning into psychological. I feel like there's a lot of, overlapping when it comes to horror, psychological thriller. Like there's a little bit of a.
Yeah, they cross paths a lot.
There's some overlapping there. But that was what I got a lot from it. Mm-hmm. Whenever it did those transitions, or there was a lot of like close up camera angles or really weird like camera angles that you're really not used to anime, like the low, like looking at the face right up at them. Yeah. Which just made you feel just a little bit almost like out of place. It was unsettling, out of place. And I think without that, I feel like the show isn't nearly as scary or horror feeling. Obviously in combination with the next thing I'll say, which is the music. Yeah. I think in combination of these really weird, unique style of transitions and then coming back on top of the music, I think that was a really good blend to help make you feel unsettled as the watcher.
Yeah, I agree.
Which I think is like the goal for the fear factor or horror factor, I guess. So I really enjoyed that element of it. Like you said, characters, they're all, you could tell who each character was. Yep. I really liked the detail of also, as you mentioned with the lighting I liked the one way of always telling who Hikaru was the eyes. Yeah. Because when the entity is inside of him, he has like the red like dots and
very Jekyll Hyde situation almost.
When you're able to tell who it is, if like you're not super paying attention, like you looked away for a second, you can tell, oh, this is the real Hikaru. We're having a flashback of the real Hikaru. Like they were good at like attention to detail.
Agreed.
For that. I was definitely not expecting the animation to be as good as it was. I just took a note here that, I want to give credit to the director, considering obviously that's what heavily impacts the way all the framing is done and the director was, oh boy, Ryuhei Takashita, who is also who did the series composition. So they only did a few episodes, but they also did the opening and the closing, the opening and the ending for the animation. But they also did the series composition. So definitely within their view of how they wanted the show to go.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
They also have done for directing, not as much as you think. They did Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night, which was a nominee for anime awards last year. And they've done some, obviously, storyboards, episodes. They're an animator, and looks like they've been stepping it up to director this past year or two, because they've done some episodes of JJK, Mushoku Tensei. But looks like this is one of the first ones where they were the full series composition for a show. So I'd say thumbs up. It was
got to Connor approval
for all that means. But yeah, it was well done. I really enjoyed. I really do think if it was more generic, just following the manga panels, if you will, I don't think it would be as good.
No,
it really does need that little extra
oomph,
attention to detail in adding those elements, and it feels very like Shaft inspired.
Yeah,
that's who I think of when I think of just those random cuts to real life things, or the use of real life images on, and then throwing the 2D characters in it. That seems very like, artsy, if you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked it. Music opening was definitely a grower for me.
Okay.
I thought first time listening to it, I was like, eh. But then as I listened to it more, and especially the visuals, obviously the visuals go hard. And as you mentioned for the ending, same thing. You have like that really cool element of blending real life video with the 2D characters, which is always really cool when it's done well.
Yeah, I have similar. I really enjoyed the opening. The opening is Reunion by Vondi. I thought the song was really good, and the visuals just help the story of what the show is kind of about. And in the visuals of the intro, you see a character, and then it shifts to like the spirit, and then it shifts back to them, and then it really helps you be like, who can we actually trust here? Because that's really the whole point of the show, is who can you trust, who you can't trust. And then the outro is you are my, not really. Let me rephrase that. Sorry. The way the story is told is you don't know who to trust.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say there. Then the outro, You Are My Monster by Tubui. I wasn't the biggest fan of the song itself, but the visuals are interesting because it shows the split between animation and live action, and shows the beach, which is a nod to the end of the season. So it's almost like it was the end of the episodes, but then it almost like, from an audience standpoint, that was the end goal.
In this season, yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously, the OST just helped out the story a lot, constantly adding to the creep factor.
Yeah, and there's a lot going on, I'll say, in the show, which can feel a little bit disorganized sometimes, but it's because there's like multiple plots going on, right? We have, I don't even have the name of the character, but we have the blonde guy from the
Tanaka.
Yeah, from the agency or whatever he's from, and you're just kind of like, what's that? What's going on with this guy?
Yeah.
Why does he have a scar? Et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of questions around him. Then you have, obviously, the story with Hikaru. What is in Hikaru?
Mm-hmm.
And that's primarily what I would say the main story is about. I just said about twice there. Like
About a boat.
But generally, we're trying to figure out, what is this entity? Is it a god? Yeah. Is it a curse? What is the Ito curse? Right? Is it an Ito curse?
Yeah.
What did they do? Etc.
Back in the 1500s.
Yeah,
how does this connect?
We're just getting all this history of the village, of what this entity could be, why is all of a sudden all this bad stuff happening around the village. Turns out that the entity kind of is like a magnet for it and has been keeping it away from the village. So we're kind of learning all that. That's another plot.
Yeah.
And another big plot is also following basically Yoshiki in how he's dealing with losing someone he cared about.
Yeah, and he bounces back and forth so many times where he's like, I don't want to lose Hikaru, but then this thing that's in Hikaru now is kind of stressing me out. And then he starts going to Ri, I think her name is, like the middle-aged.
Yeah, the person who had a similar situation with her husband.
Yeah, which that was insane.
That story, yeah.
That subplot there of her origin, I was like, dang.
Yeah, and it definitely has like that element of dealing with grief, right? Yeah. Dealing with loss, and how would you feel if all of a sudden someone you cared about was there but wasn't there?
Yeah.
And I think, I don't remember what number episode it was, but it did such a good job of the entity inside Hikaru. And I know that it has a name. I totally didn't make note of it. That's my bad. But so I'm just gonna keep calling it the entity.
The entity
for now. But it's the episode where the one female character is like, "You're not Hikaru,"
Asako. Yeah.
and she starts crying, and it comes to the conclusion like, "Oh yeah, all of these humans, like if they found Hikaru and I didn't take over his body, would have already mourned for them."
That definitely.
That was like a big development for the entity because obviously it doesn't understand human emotions. And I was like, whoa, this is deep. Like,
did not expect this.
That was big. So obviously another plot at the same time, this thing trying to learn about what it means to be human. You know, that's a classic story.
Yep, classic.
A monster
Never
trying
seen
to
that
be
before.
human. Or learning what it means to be human. And then on top of all this, we're in this small village. It's clear that with a lot of the visuals from Yoshiki's POV, and even in some of the flashbacks, etc., that Yoshiki has greater feelings for Hikaru past just friendship.
Yep. It's not platonic.
Harder to tell how Hikaru felt towards Yoshiki, at least in this first season.
Yeah.
I had a harder time figuring out if this was a both sides are feeling the same way. But it is clear that Yoshiki is dealing with, on top of losing someone he cared about, all this other craziness going on in the village, is also dealing with their own I don't want to say coming out, because I don't think he wants to come out in the specific case, because we see the village discuss, oh, that guy's sick, and we see Yoshiki say he's not sick, he's just gay.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with it, and he wants to leave this small village, which clearly is very, conservative.
Fashion.
Yeah, very conservative. So
yeah,
he probably just wants to get out to the big city to just be himself.
Exactly.
And that's a lot of also what he's dealing with at the same time. And I think that's another reason why he's so okay with this version of Hikaru, is because Hikaru starts showing emotions that the other Hikaru didn't towards him.
Exactly.
Right? Says that, I like you, or I don't want you to leave me. Or I'll do anything. Like, I'll be better. Just, be with me. And I think that Yoshiki really wanted to hear those words from Hikaru. So I think that that's partly why he's like totally okay with trying to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
And we obviously have the not so subtle scene of the going inside of Hikaru, for lack of a better word.
There's no other lack of word. That's what happens.
Yeah, and just the experimentation and, being that close.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There's a lot going on, basically.
Yes.
Almost every character has kind of their own stuff going on. The one girl character can hear the boundary of death and whatnot, and then we have someone who can see it. I was like, there's so many
things
such
that
a
are
small
nodded
village,
at.
so many people with so many things going
exactly. Positives of the anime, I enjoyed the history of the world. I think that's what kept me involved the most.
I liked when they went to the library.
Yeah.
And then you learn that the village and the surrounding areas
are all pieces of body parts.
Creates an actual, like, human.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that's creepy.
That's creepy, but tell me more. Yeah, because then they find body parts around, except for where this village is, because this is where the heads are supposed to be and all that. And then, like, that plays a part. And then we get the history of, like, the little shriveled up head as well. That was a good one. And I was like, okay.
That was the backstory for...
the curse.
The curse of the Ito clan or whatever. Was it Ito?
Yeah, it's something like that. It's
Indo.
That's what it is. Yeah. I think that's probably my favorite part. I think the voices were all well done. Obviously, we watched it subbed. The special effects of Hikaru were great.
Yep.
The mix of live action and anime helped weirdly. And obviously the OST of the creepy factor. Like, I don't know, all around, there's some really good, strong positives for the show. I think there's moments that would make it a 9.
Yeah, no, if we were to break it down into, like, elements, it's like, oh, yeah, okay, animation, like, you're giving that a high grade.
Yeah.
You're giving the OST a high grade. Maybe you're giving...
The character designs, a decent...
It would get a good grade. But maybe, like, the pacing, you're kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe, generally, if you're breaking down the story... If you're just watching it to just watch something, it's going to be hard to follow and confusing. You got to be dialed.
You got to be dialed.
You got to be surprisingly
dialed. You can't,
like...
get
if you want to keep up with everything that's going on, you got to be dialed.
Exactly.
So that could be a low score for some people, but that could also be a high score for some.
Exactly.
Some people, that's what they're looking for in a show, right?
Yeah. And what are some of your positives?
I mean, you pretty much covered all my positives as well. I liked that it wasn't scary. It was the creepy, unsettling. That was definitely a positive for me. That's more so about bias of my own.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said before, the stylistic choices very like Shaft-like. I just like when it's just an anime. It's just not like copy pasta.
Yeah.
I really enjoy when I can watch a show and you're like, oh, that's different. Even if it's something maybe you don't like as much, at least like you're like, they tried something.
Exactly.
And I really do enjoy that. Or wow, you don't see those angles often in anime. That's cool.
Yeah, I think it was definitely, this anime is definitely a good change in what we're usually watching.
Definitely
nice little switch up.
Negatives?
Oh, I got like three big ones, and that is one, so many unanswered questions. That's probably the biggest negative I have.
So the asterisk that goes on that for me is when we went into this knowing nothing about the show, I thought this was a 12 episode and doneer. I didn't realize it was a manga / light novel that is still going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, isn't even done.
Yikes.
So I didn't realize that. And obviously that part of that's on me, but also I didn't want to spoil anything. But,
yeah, exactly. You don't want to Google too much going into it.
But I feel like that deserves an asterisk because you don't have to have all the answers in a first season or something.
No,
right?
for sure.
So,
but I think when you introduce, because in this anime specifically, you have two antagonists. You have Hikaru, spirit demon.
Okay.
And then you have the dude from the organization. He is like a secondary antagonist. Like, he's not the main, if you want to call them antagonists. But to me, I don't think we got enough of him for us to like stressing that he's there.
But it's one season.
I know. But for me, I think all encompassing the ending of season 1 as a whole didn't keep me sold enough. If there was a season 2 out right now, I don't know if I'd jump into season 2 right away.
I probably would watch.
But that's just
2.
It would be on the list to eventually watch.
When something is a season 1, it's still going on. There's multiple volumes of it. You can't have things just thrown out.
No,
right?
definitely not. Yeah.
Like you said, for the gentleman from the organization or whatever, that's part of the mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Who is this guy? What's the organization? Obviously, there's some sort of almost even bigger thing going on outside of this village.
For sure.
Right? And that's part of what should keep you interested, or from a mystery point of view, being like, okay, we didn't get anything about that. We still got to figure out about that. And like you said, that's something we haven't gotten told. That's an unanswered question. And obviously, for me, when I'm watching it thinking, oh, this is going to be done in 12 eps, that's also, I was like, there's no way they're going to explain this and this and this. But then when I realized, okay, this is just season 1, I'm like, okay, well,
I guess it's okay.
Well, you can't be.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to be too critical.
I just mean in terms of like, how would you tell us, like, if you look at mystery stories, you can't just throw all the answers out
Definitely
there.
not.
Right?
No, for sure.
And I think from a season 1, only 12 episodes, I don't love it. I do wish it was maybe 24, maybe had a more smoother. The ending wasn't bad, but it was the way we got there that felt just like it felt very like sudden that we got there.
That's what I mean. I feel like it just like the ending was, to me, the ending kind of felt rushed, and that's what I mean. Like, the end of season 1 didn't like.
It felt sudden that we came to that, and then it didn't even matter because it was more emotional, I guess, for both characters.
Yeah, and I think when you're doing a horror mystery story, I think, to me, obviously I haven't read the manga, so I don't know. But I think I would have liked the ending just a little bit more if it was a cliffhanger.
It kind of was.
It kind of is, but like not to the
just
extreme.
Sits with the two, and you're just kind of like,
oh.
But yeah, I did also write down that there were unanswered questions. Big one also is what's going on with the dad. Yeah. Why is the dad so distant? And this dad would be Yoshiki.
Yep.
Yoshiki's father. Why is he so distant? What's going on? Because clearly his mom and dad don't have a good relationship or something. And I don't know. It's just they talked about it, and then he shows up. Basically, it almost felt more for plot convenience.
Definitely a plot convenience.
To give us some backstory.
Yeah. Oh, we need answers. Let me just go talk to my dad.
But then they show him more again, and you're just kind of like, okay, so what's his story? What's going on with this relationship?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's definitely a big one. I don't even know if that one will end up being a focus at all. Obviously the guy from the company.
Yeah.
What's going on there? Matt's really curious about the hamster.
I want to know.
I really thought that one scene was hilarious with Yoshiki when they both just start and he's like, he's pooping in your hand. He's like, I don't care.
Yeah, it's a great moment.
I thought that was just like it, like
so,
not happening.
Yeah.
And then because it was a different art style, and it felt so ridiculous for the two of them to be interacting that way. And then it turns out it was.
Yeah, it actually happened. Yeah, yeah. And you're
like,
like, okay.
I was like, wow,
yeah, I
want
to know how this hamster has supernatural abilities. It's the biggest question.
Maybe it's a person.
Could be.
And I did also say, like, this is coming from someone who didn't read the manga, light novel, which I believe are still going on.
Mm-hmm.
But it did feel like, if this story could have wrapped in 24 episodes. Now, obviously, this is, like we said, no manga, no light novel. This story could end up going way off the deep end, deeper than we could have ever imagined. But for me, when I'm like looking at the elements that were introduced, if they could have done it from one episode to 24 and wrapped everything up, that could have been a really high rated show for me.
Yeah.
It's how much more is left to tell and how it's done that now impacts how the whole story goes. Right?
Definitely. Exactly.
And not that that's a bad thing, but it's just, when you're first watching, you don't know anything about it. That's what comes to mind. The last episode, I felt like had a lot more still images than the rest of the series. Yeah. But then it did make up for it with the train scene, where you got to see like the real train with the 2D characters in it, kind of like the ending. And there were some good moments. The fight scene at the end there where it's very emotional for the two characters, where we have the new Hikaru basically saying, I'm going back to the mountain to
peace out.
Protect you because I can't control myself anymore, but also clearly I need to go up there to protect the village because everything's attracted to me. And then obviously that's not wanted by Yoshiki, and they have a fight about it. And based on what I've said and what you see, it seems like Hikaru is going to stay.
I presume so, or else the manga would just kind of end. I think maybe I don't know.
I could have seen.
I could have seen maybe them
where it goes back, and then Yoshiki climbs the mountain.
Yeah, to try and be
something
with
we didn't mention was the designs of the entities or like the monsters that.
Yes, very
off-putting.
Very off-putting. This is a weird niche thing that I feel like only Canadians would get. But like, do you ever read those like stories you tell in the dark or whatever? Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like it was a little book series when we were younger.
I remember them, but yeah, I didn't.
Oh, it was that kind of visual where it was like a sketch.
They were all like
unsettling.
They were all head related, right? Which is we learn is on purpose. But like the one that you see at first with the long neck and it's like 90-degree angle, that was disturbing. You had the one that's like head was basically attached to like string. Oh man.
Yeah. Very weird.
Those were some cursed.
Those are fun.
Those were cursed.
Those are good though.
I mean, good for it's a horror, exactly. But I mean, it was cursed.
And before we jump into enjoyment, we are going to jump over to Nerdy Misfit Gaming, where Troy, who is dressed up
and is our resident normie, is going to give his opinion on this a lot going on series.
Exactly. Take it away, Troy.
Hello, everyone. This is Peter from the Nerdy Misfits Gaming. Happy early Halloween. This is my little review on The Summer Hikaru Died. And I'm going to be honest, this anime kind of really threw me. To me, it was pretty kind of weird. It starts off with your big plot twist of the title, and it's got a few interesting premises at the start, and then after a couple episodes, it just kind of still continues down this weird path. You have this conflict of Yosuke. I am so bad with names. Learning, like right away, that his friend who went missing up in the mountains had kind of returned. But there's like a monster creature that's basically taken over his body, and that his friend is actually dead. They vow kind of keep things just between them and continue from there. You can kind of feel, you feel the attachment between the two is still there, especially because, Yosuke went through this whole grief period of, his friend is gone, and then kind of shows up, and now he's got to reprocess that whole basically part of his life again. Not kind of sure how he feels, but he just knows he doesn't want to go through it again, and he doesn't want to lose his best friend again. At the same time, you're kind of learning that this little small country town, some of the townsfolk believe that it's got a big curse over its head, and they got to do certain things in order to keep the curse from being worse. For me, it kind of didn't have the greatest of flow as the story was kind of going on. I thought the art was okay. I was not a fan of how they showed what the creature monster god looks like. Every time it kind of did its thing, it was kind of this ghostly slime thing that had a weird kind of blend of colors that, again, to me, it just felt weird and didn't work. I also found that when Hikaru told Yosuke to put his hand kind of just inside him, again, it was just kind of weird and wasn't a fan. And then every time the monster did like a little event thing, I don't even know how to kind of word it, but the sound effects that kind of came with it was like a higher pitch kind of squeal with some random music that they just kind of all bunched together. And yes, there's like a weird mystery to it, but again, for me it just felt off and didn't work. I also wasn't a huge fan of kind of how the show how the end of season 1 ended, where the creature has made up his mind that, he kind of can't control himself as much as he could at the beginning. And he's going to basically, go back to the mountains, kind of where it was, as he doesn't want to hurt anyone. And he made the promise that he wasn't going to hurt anyone. But Yosuke basically refuses to let the creature basically do that, or at least it seems like he's refusing to allow him to do that. And it shows them kind of just on the beach, they're kind of yelling at each other, and he pretty much begs him to stay. And I feel like they could have, again, I didn't read the manga, so I don't know what the show, where else it's going to go with it, but you almost could have ended it there, kind of changed a few other things, but have the creature kind of go back up to the mountain and kind of say its goodbyes. Like, you could have almost ended the whole series there. I did kind of like how it felt like it was like a countryside mystery, where you're not in the bigger cities, you're in kind of the smaller country town. Maybe just kind of connects a little bit more with me because I also live in a small town, and I kind of like that compared to the real big cities. But overall, I don't think this anime was for me. I like the idea that they had for the plot. I just don't think it was fleshed out the greatest. And I get it's a mystery, but still, more often than not, I found myself to be more confused rather than kind of being more curious on what's happening next to the story. So for me, I give it probably a 6 out of 10. Not my style. Sorry. Oh, you're wondering why I've got this? Oh, it goes with my Halloween costume. I'm Peter Pan. See you in Neverland.
All right, and thanks, Troy, for that very interesting review on the summer Hikaru died.
Great costume.
Great costume. Do you agree with Troy? Do you think he missed something? Do you think we missed something on our review of it? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to check out Troy down at the Nerdy Misfit Gaming channel, where he streams every Tuesday
Yeah, been on the Pokemon
On
grind.
the Pokemon grind right
Very
now.
controversial game. I don't know if you know
Yes,
this.
some people think it's the best. Some people think it's terrible.
And some people think people are being too harsh on Nintendo, and some people be sucking on Nintendo.
Yeah, literally.
Who's to say?
Who's to
which
say?
way is the wave?
Could not tell you.
Ask Troy in the stream.
Ask
He'll
Troy.
let you know how he thinks
Exactly.
about the game.
Enjoyment, Connor. What you think of the anime?
I thought it was good. I think the first half was a lot better,
Yep.
and that could also be because, like I said, I hadn't read or anything about it, and I didn't know that we were only doing it was only a season 1. So maybe I was like, oh, I can't wait to see how all this.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit more disappointing. You build it up for yourself, but I do think we get introduced to so many elements at the start.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're just kind of like, but we really only get breadcrumbs, really. Like the biggest part is we're kind of learning. I'd say maybe the village is like the stuff you learn about the most. You don't even really truly learn about the entity that's taken over Hikaru quite yet. Like it still seems like it's very on the fence of curse, god, like what exactly it is. But we know of the village. We know what happened in the village from the Hindu clan. We also learned that the whole Hindu ritual is pointless.
Yep.
So that is also something you learn, which also leads obviously to more questions. If it's pointless, like
why are we
doing
point?
it? Why are all these abnormalities still happening? Well, struggle there. But yeah, there's a lot of questions. I would say there is enough mystery for me to be like, when a season 2 comes out, I'm like, I gotta know.
Okay.
You know, that at least for me, there's enough of those. I'm ready to also be, Star Wars Episode 8 and just have them all just be cut and just be like, oh, there are no storylines now.
Yeah.
Cool.
This is all
because I feel like for me
irrelevant.
right now, it's like it's Episode 7 where you're just like, whoa, there's
Look at
which
this.
way are they gonna go?
Yeah, this is a great new start to an anime. Oh,
no, they're killing it all.
Fantastic.
So that's my point of view. So I'd say enjoyment was solid. It did feel slow, but that could also be, a little bit of shonen brain being like everything you want to be so fast paced. But as One Piece fans, sometimes being patient is worth it.
Exactly.
It's good to sometimes have that story that goes past and isn't just giving you all that satisfaction right away.
Yeah, exactly. The anticipation builds. Yeah.
How about you?
I liked it a lot better than I thought it was going to. Based on the first couple episodes, I was like, I don't know if this is really going to be my cup of tea. But then, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a roller coaster of emotions with some very interesting storytelling. Again, it's not my first choice of anime, but I respect the people that really enjoy it. I thought it was pretty good. Which then goes into my final thoughts recommendation rating of this anime. If you like horror or you like creepy factor, then this is
Definitely recommend.
Definitely recommend.
Especially since not very many good horror anime.
Exactly.
So.
We've watched a couple that are spooky, but nothing
Well, and just in general, all of the hyped up horror manga that everyone loves doesn't usually get a good anime adaptation.
Exactly.
And this one, I can say, is at least solid.
Yeah.
So I would say definitely, if you're into horror, it's a recommend. Rating, like you mentioned, some elements you feel like a 9. Some elements it's like, I'm going to say right now, I'm sitting in like a 7.5.
7.5, but closer to the 7. Like, I don't want to give it an 8.
Like I'm
so
on
I
like
settled with a 7.
I really enjoyed the animation, the music. I'm just, I need to know more.
Yeah, I agree.
And you could argue that maybe that should rank it up because the mystery element is good. But I just need to know more, and I need to see how some of the storylines get, tied up.
Exactly.
Or how they end.
But I think if you want to see something different to really open up your mind to a new genre of anime that you're not familiar with, such as horror, I think this could be a great stepping stone.
A great stepping stone for thinking outside of just what you're seeing.
Exactly.
Having to, or from what you're being told as the audience. Because we watch so many stories, and this goes for movies, in live action movies and shows as well, is we live in a world where we just want all the answers now.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of big issues with a lot of shows is they just tell you everything. So this is a great show where you have to look deeper. You do have to read between the lines and use the visuals that the director and the animation team has given you as opposed to just what you're reading. Because that helps a ton too. And so I think it's really good anime for that, to try and pick the nuances, the subtext, the hints, etc. It's a good anime for that as well.
100% agree.
Yeah. With that said, that's been the anime of the month for October. But before we go, we're going to discuss the anime of the month for November. Matt, this is a Matt pick.
This is a Matt pick.
Do you mind explaining where you found it, or you just...
I was literally just surfing through Crunchyroll one day, and I was like, I kind of want to find something different. And I was like, looking at the different genres and stuff, and I was like, I'm not really feeling fantasy or isekai or anything. I think I went to like the adventure section, and then I just clicked on this one, and the artwork of it just really intrigued me for some reason, because it's just like a little random girl, and there's like this old man with just flowers.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
But I'm like, why is this intriguing to me? Which then, yes, the anime that we'll be watching is called Alice and Zuroku. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. But it aired back in spring of 2017. Not a lot of people have rated this on my anime list. Smaller in comparison to some other ones.
I mean,
but it's
completed
decent.
is close to Hikaru.
That is true.
Although Hikaru just came out.
Yeah. It's only 12 episodes. The studio is JC Staff, which is obviously a bigger studio. The genre is adventure and mystery. And the My Anime List score is 7.10. That's with 124,219
total. Completed 58.
Yeah.
So, not many.
No, not singly 58,000.
Well, I mean, it's worth noting just because 12,000 are dropped.
Yeah. 6,000 are on hold.
And 37,000 are planned to watch. That's almost, you're getting close to the same amount planned to watch as completed.
A little stressy. If it's going to be good or not. But we've probably watched worse. So anyways, synopsis, My Anime List. Sana is not... Sana.
We don't know.
We'll say Sana. Sana is not an ordinary little girl. She possesses a special ability known as Alice's Dream. Due to her power, which allows her to create anything from her imagination, all that she knows is the laboratory that she is a test subject in. Wishing to experience the outside world, she escapes and meets a stubborn old florist named Zoroku Kashimura in a convenience store. All too soon, her pursuers catch up, and Zoroku is roped into Sana's troubles. However, far from trying to distance himself, Zoroku extends a hand to help Sana. Following his values and sense of justice, he even gives the pursuers a piece of his mind. Zoroku then offers Sana a place to stay, beginning the daily life and struggles of the unlikely duo.
Doesn't give us much.
But
we'll see.
Gives me kind of Spy Family vibes a little bit. But again, I don't know. I am definitely intrigued. It
predates Spy Family.
It does. It is available on Crunchyroll, dubbed and sub, if you're wanting to watch along, which you totally should, because we're going to talk about it in the Discord. We have a whole spot for that in the Discord. So, make sure you talk about it. And stay tuned for the next couple weeks. We got more anime. We got some Star Wars Vision stuff coming up. Potentially some League of Legends stuff. We got a lot on the docket. And before you know, it'll be Anime of the Month again, where we're talking about this anime in depth.
I thought you were going to say that you're going to be the end of the year, but I mean, it's pretty much also true.
That's coming up soon, too. Only got 8 weeks left until the end of 2025.
But yeah, if you made it this far, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you're listening to this podcast, make sure to drop a follow or a rating. It helps the podcast out a ton. And we'll see you guys next week for another episode of the Nerdy Misfit Podcast.
All right, bye.
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast. Don't forget to join the island by dropping a follow. Thank you, and see you next week.